Hi everybody, it's me Al down here at Al's Motorcycle Shop in Mobile, Alabama. Yeah, we got a white motorcycle today. So I haven't posted a video in a while, so I thought I'd do something. I've been doing a lot of really interesting stuff that I probably should have been putting on YouTube and Facebook and other places like that. But yeah, you get busy, and I'm only one guy against the world here. So yeah, no cameraman, no nothing. I got stereo though. Anyway, yeah, a customer brought in this bike, and he said it had a blown head gasket, which it didn't. It just had an exhaust leak. So I took the head off and took his word for it. And yeah, no blown head gasket. But anyway, let me show you. As you can see, right here, that head gasket did not, the head gasket I took off and threw away. But anyway, the head gasket didn't blow out, but you could see where the exhaust had been coming out and hitting right here. He just, when it was running, put his hand back here and you could feel something. And somebody had put some of those high performance, real small exhaust manifold gaskets in there, and I guess the bolts went down and bottomed out and it didn't seal. So anyway, we got to put the motor back together and give them the good news. Anyway, the way that I make these videos, if I can set that there for a minute, the way that I make these videos is to, I turn the camera off and on. I don't edit anything because I don't know how. So what I do is I turn it off and put several together, just splice them together and put it on the YouTube, and one shot, that's it, Anyway, there's a lot of videos out there that show people, how to put these things together and all that stuff and how to take them apart. I mean, I don't need to do all that. I mean, you already know all that. Or you got other videos to look at. So I'll turn the camera back on when I get ready to torque these down, because there's two methods of torquing these down. There's by the book, or there's made up by people like me. But anyway, sometimes I do one or the other, but both systems work just fine, as long as you do the second system that I'm going to show you about here in a little bit. As long as you do it right, do it exactly like I tell you, and it'll be fine. Okay, now, as you can see, I got the cylinder, top of the cylinder cleaned off real good. I put the gasket on. The gasket has one way to go on. You can put it on upside down is what I'm trying to tell you. Or you can put it on the right way. Actually, on the Harley Davidson gaskets, and some of the aftermarket gaskets I think, it's actually stamped this side up. So look out for that. It's kind of critical. Anyway, I got the head cleaned up real good. This gasket surface on the head and the cylinder cleaned up real good. Put the gasket on, put the head on. A lot of people have to show you how to do that. Here's a head bolt. This is a valve side. This goes on the other side. But anyway, it's a long one. What they'll tell you in the book, and as you can see, I have a book right here. Everything I've learned out of these books. You're not born with information. You have to learn it. So anyway, they'll tell you on the books, this surface here that meets the head has to be cleaned real good, and you have to put a light coat of oil here and on the head where this is going to seat, so these can be torqued down properly. If you don't, they'll grab and they'll just grab, and you won't be able to get them torqued properly. In the book, you have to follow the book. It says this one's first. Let me see here. I'll show you. You do this one first, second, third, fourth. On the front head, you will do this one first, second, third, fourth, like that. It shows you that in the book. Just follow the book. There's the book right there. Alright? And also, in the book, it will, did I turn that one page too far? Alright, here's the part where it tells you, the sequence to torque them down, and don't try to do this, stuff. It's, these engineers aren't stupid, and of course down here the book will tell you after you get it torqued down, first 7, all these 7 and all these 12 or 14 or whatever you want to go with. But anyway, that's not that real critical. It's to get them in that ballpark, to get them in the range that the book tells you to. And then after that, you mark it and then turn it 90 degrees. Actually, that's about the best way to do it. After you get all these torqued down to 12 or 14, you know, then you can turn this to 35 pounds if you want to use a torque wrench. And, you know, personally, stick with this. It works. It works really well. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and finish putting these head bolts in, and that's that. You know, I just can't emphasize enough to follow the instructions in the book. The book's right. You know, if somebody tells you that book's screwed up, they probably don't know what the hell they're talking about, you know. You know, or they act like they know what they're talking about, and they're pretty convincing, a lot of those guys out there are. But that's bullshit, you know. Follow the book. You can't go wrong, you know. Those engineers get paid a lot of money to do all this. Anyway, I'm going to turn this thing off again, and I'll come back when we get a little bit further along. Okay, now, as you can see, we got the head on, we got it torqued down. You know, if you use the torque method, 35 pounds, never go over 40. Never go over 40. Do not go over 40. You will pull the studs out of the case. Okay, now the best way to do is, of course, use the book, use the 90 degree one. It's surefire, dummy proof way of doing things. So, you know, that's usually the way I do it. But anyway, now we're going to go ahead and put the pushrod tubes down in here. And I'm using the stock pushrod tubes. I don't use the adjustable ones. They're a pain in the ass to try to adjust unless you change the tubes, you know, and have more room at the bottom down here. I don't know if you can see that, you know, because these tubes only go up so far, and you got these adjustments in here. They're real pain in the ass to get to. So what I do is I use the stock ones. Now, the stock ones are color-coded. Silver and, well, they're light colored and dark colored, okay? Anyway, in case you forget, you know, which one goes where, there's an easy test for this, okay? What I do is I take and, let's go down here, move that out of the way. I take these pushrod tubes, put them on a flat surface, and one is taller than the other one. Yeah, simple. A tall one always goes to the exhaust, which is the dark one, okay? The one down in there, yeah, there we go. And then this one. Okay, light color here. And on the Evos, it's the same way. You know, the longer one will be the exhaust. Evo, twin cam, pretty much the same thing, except the pushrod tubes are, of course, not interchangeable. They're different lengths. Alright, so now let's go on to the next step. Okay, here's a little trick I use when I put the intake manifold on, a carburetor on, or this one is, you know, throttle body for a fuel injected, but they're basically all the same. So now this side here is flat, okay? So what I do is I get a simple carpenter's level, and I'll use where you mount the air cleaner and the breather. This should be flat and parallel with this right here. So I'll take and I'll measure it, and sometimes I'll have to tie the bike down this way or that way to get level, or I'll just use it's a little Kentucky windage they call it, and I'll look at that, then I'll put it over here, and I'll make them the same, alright? So when you torque everything down, and this is exactly parallel with this, when you put your cover on, everything should line up okay. If not, well, you got to deal with it. But anyway, it's a little trick I use, and it works every time. Okay, we got the, excuse me, woohoo! We got the throttle body on, we got everything all plugged in. I have a new map sensor, so I haven't plugged that in yet. But everything else is plugged in, everything's on, snug, tight, all new seals. You know, of course, you never want to use an old seal, come on. But anyway, this rocker assembly here, the bottom cover isn't an issue. It's not hard to put on at all. Okay, it goes straight on. There's you know, 6 bolts in that hold it on. Torque all those down to specs, and The rocker assembly on the dressers, it's hard to finagle in there, but you can get it in there. And on the dynos, for some reason, this frame is a little bit lower. Some of the 88s that I've worked on, it's a little bit lower. So this bolt, I'll show you, this bolt back here in the back, that one right there is the difficult one, okay? Now, what I have done in the past was to cut about 1/8 of an inch off, don't cut any more than that, about 1/8 of an inch off of that, you know, on the dynos, and then you can get the rocker assembly in a lot easier. And that's just one of the little tricks, and let's say, you know, there's a lot of other people tell you how to do this step for step, but that's cutting to the meat of the situation. Okay, here we are again over here on this side, and I've got everything here except the top cover, and you know, I'm no mechanical genius by a long shot, but yeah, I've been working on these things for a long time, and I've seen some crazy stuff, but I got to show you all this. Look at here. You see that spark plug? I just put it in, and it's hand tight, I think. Yeah, it's hand tight. See, and it went all the way in, went bottomed out. Okay. Now, here's the front. This, don't pay attention to this wire. This is, somebody had some speakers in. That's supposed to be speaker wire. It looks like extension cord wire, but anyway, they got speakers back here on these saddlebags. Anyway, this spark plug, I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing, but they put a new set of plugs in, because this one over here on the rear cylinder was brand new, and so they just kept driving that straight on in, crooked. I'm not touching it. I'm afraid. Anyway, it's you see what I got to deal with on this stuff. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I had a couple bikes come in, and I got working and got carried away, and I went ahead and finished the CVO bike. And yeah, you didn't get to see it all put together, but here it is. It's all finished now. Maybe next time we'll be able to yeah, see, all that's back together. The motor's back together anyway, and this side is back together. Yeah, it's ready to go, ready to pick up. Sorry about that. Maybe next time we'll do some more on another bike. But for now, this bike is out of here. See you later.